Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City media podcast. Stepping up to the microphone are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Now, let's get to the show.
I'm still not used to that new intro.
It is different.
What is up? Welcome to episode 86 of Tigers Untapped. We got a special one.
Quick straw poll, because we've got three of us here. Do we want to go back to the old intro?
No, it's great.
I'm good with that one.
And freshing.
So we're
the new one. I think it's shorter, so it's a little bit like it's not like a 45-minute.
That's true.
Intro to it. I don't know. I like it. I know some people have bitched in the past about the original being longer. So
I usually start the recording and then go put the kids down to bed and come back, and we're just about to start the.
That's why our beers have been getting so hot before we record, is because that intro is so damn long.
You ain't lying.
Speaking of cold beer, Timothy, tell the folks what you just took a sip of that your face looked like it was dog piss.
I don't know.
TJ, are you sure? My question is real quick.
I forgot what the beer was. I knew the name of it.
Bad Boys is sour, and TJ doesn't like sour. Kenneth,
Speaking
this
of
is
sour,
a prickly pear sour, Medicine Man by Hampline.
Mm-hmm.
My question is do we think it's safe for TJ to be drinking a sour right now?
Probably not.
It's going to come out just like it went in.
Evil. TJ, you look skinnier right now. You look like you've lost some weight.
I tell you what, though, he's still got the flow going. Look at the locks.
Yeah, it's kind of rough today. We're doing swim training with the kids. So we're out freaking ISR for those parents out there. It's hot and it's humid, especially at like 8:30 in the morning. It's roasty toasty out there. I'm getting sweaty. My kid's dripping wet. Fortunately, my wife took all the water this morning. She got it all over her. I was dry, but I was also not dry, dripping. So my hair's a little messed up. But yeah, Trey mentioned it already. Medicine Man, Hampline. We're gonna have a lot of Hampline coming up. I don't know what to tell you. That's just who is out there.
Hampline heavy, baby.
They're canning a lot of beer. They just are.
And they can all ounce, my friend, which is what we need on this show.
They make 12 ounces. So expect that.
Well, I don't know that we needed a pint tonight, because we only got one live in studio sesh, and then we got a special second segment tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to stick around after the break. Let's jump into it, fellas. I had to tweet at Mr. Bard Torvik the other day, see if we couldn't get our good friend PJ Carter added. He added him. He didn't acknowledge my tweet, so I don't know if I can take credit for this happening or not. I just know that he has since been added after I tweeted at him. We were 27th in his 2025 projections. You fellas want to take a gander at where we are now that PJ's been added to the roster?
27.
No. You were 27th. This is going to sound disrespectful to PJ Carter, but
has not moved
5.
Yeah, oh, 25. I thought you were gonna go backwards, and that would be really disrespectful.
38, Bob.
26. We bumped up one spot. I will give you I will give you another thing to guess. Right. We have our top 10 projected contributors for the season by Bart Torvik. Where does PJ Carter fall in our projected top 10 contributors?
10.
Not in the top 10. 11, 12.
When you say top 10, you're setting me up to make me believe that it's going to be within the top 10.
It is. He is in the top
10. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I would have said number 10. Yeah.
Close. 9. Jared Harris as a freshman.
Oh, yeah.
He's got Jared averaging 1.8 points per night, 0.3 boards, and an assist at an 18 usage. PJ Carter, 3.3 points, 1 rebound, and half an assist a night as the 9th overall contributor.
That's 1 3-pointer a night, and I'm fine with that.
Like, I will take it.
Just knock a 3 down. Perfect.
knock a three that you come in, you play 6-7 minutes, and you knock a three down and grab a board.
Call it a day. Get out. I'm good. Yep.
It's good with me. You get an assist every other night. I'll take that too.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
I ain't worried about it. Top 25, fringe top 25 team. People are worried about us winning this conference.
But you know, that's not, it's a different argument, man.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It's not about the roster composition. I don't think. Unless I'm on the wrong
sure
page.
It's not about the roster comp, but
I think it's about
he's got us projected 26th. The next, I'll give you a guess at the next closest team and what they're ranked.
Oh my God.
Give me who he's got projected second in the conference and where they fall in the overall rankings out of 300 and whatever odd teams.
South Florida.
Seems like an easy one, yeah.
Probably 42nd.
It is not South Florida, and you are halfway there. It is UAB, who he has ranked 82nd. 40,
that's a big jump.
60, almost 60 spots ahead. North Texas would be third at 87th, and then Wichita State 100th. That's your top 100.
Who's the lowest ranked?
The
AAC
lowest
team?
is UTSA.
Yeah,
at 205, followed very closely by Rice at 200. We got a real stockpile here in the top between 130 and 140. You got Temple at 140, Tulsa 135, ECU at 133, Charlotte at 128, FAU at 105.
Which one of those is the first to crack the top 100? Assuming one of them does, if you had to pick one.
Which of these teams that I just listed?
Yeah. Obviously, there's only two in the top 100. So who's the next most likely?
Gosh.
Charlotte?
I kind of was gonna say Charlotte, but
I say Charlotte. I'll go Charlotte.
I mean, they are projected to be the closest to the top 100.
Wichita State. I'll go Wichita State.
They're already in the top 100.
Oh, they're 100. They're 100.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah. Well, no, they got a crack.
I thought they were 80 something.
Oh, okay, crack. They come out and make a 3-pointer, and they've cracked the top.
I'll go Wichita State. I'll go safe. Wichita State. They'll win one game and get into the top 100. That's what they'll do. They'll crack the top 100.
Today, Bart Torvik has us projected at an 18-6 record, 13-3 overall in conference. I think 13-3 would be fine. Let's say you lose out of UAB. You maybe, I don't know. That would
lose to Tulane. Lose
at Tulane. per use. Even though at them at 180, it makes me want to throw up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all obviously just projection. This could change quite a bit once games start getting played. But I don't think 13-3 in conference would be absolutely devastating.
Devastating, no, but I think it matters who those three are, right?
And I don't think that if they lose 3 games in conference, they're not going into the tournament saying we're absolutely.
Oh, I don't think I don't think you can be a lock. I won't say that. It's going to be dependent on what you do out of conference. If you have the same out of conference results as you had last year, you come out and you're 11-2 out of conference. And then you go 13-3 in conference. I think you're a lock.
You're a lock. I think that's true too, probably. Yeah.
But if you're closer to, I don't even want to say 500, but I mean, if you're 9-4, 8-5 coming out of conference, then I don't think 13-3 is cutting it. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just tough with this league.
I know that we have talked about this roster and this composition, how it makes sense and all that kind of stuff. Is it not wild that this roster is ranked 26th and last year's roster, Bart Torvik never saw it in the top 20 until they were, I think they were 10-2. That's when he put them in the top 20, right? Or no, they still weren't on his rank. They were still, the metrics were all off, even when they were ranked top 10 nationally, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when they were top 10, the metrics had us more of a 50-ish, I think. 40, 40s to 50 probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we were slowly declining every game we played, right? Outside of the Virginia and Clemson games, I think A&M, those were your peak, and then it was almost steady decline. Vandy, Austin P into conference play. It was just kind of worse and worse every night. It is a little bit strange that it seems like Bart Torvik really likes this team metrically, and a lot of other people are down on what it looks like and don't think very highly of it.
I mean, because
last year was kind of the opposite.
I mean, we have the hindsight of 2020 vision, right? Like when you see what the team ended up becoming and what they did in the end of the year, you can go, oh, okay, now we understand why Bart didn't like the team and all that, the metrics that we're saying that was all off. But preseason, like you look at just the players on the team, it made zero sense that they didn't like this roster or last year's roster, that it wasn't.
I think preseason, it was equivalent. I think they were top 25 preseason, Bart Torvik wise. It was once the game started playing and the efficiencies were so bad that it went down. But speaking of 2020, can you take those glasses off? I mean, the reflection is insane.
My bad, man. My bad, bro. My bad.
Holy Toledo. I could see myself.
I legitimately change if I'm wearing my glass. I have almost essentially the same glasses as Kenny. I will change out of my glasses to put my contacts in before I do the podcast because I don't want Trey to bitch at me about the reflection.
I just wish we could see like we can barely see Trey half the time, and he's bitching at me about my glasses. Like I'm just confused.
Trey over here.
Trey's over here like this the whole time.
I mean, if you would get us back in a studio, it wouldn't be an issue.
Listen, behind the scenes, let me tell you, I send them a link to this studio, this StreamYard studio every single week. And Trey dislikes it and cusses me out every
day
week.
It's going to happen until you give me an address.
And respectfully, you deserve
to a URL.
Listen, I feel you. How are y'all gonna feel the one day that I'll send you an address and be like, show up, boys. It's time.
I will be there. I'll probably tailgate.
We'll be happy. I don't know if I'm going to tailgate. I'm coming straight off bedtime. Well, I'm coming straight off bedtime.
That's fine. That's fair. I get you.
So.
All right. So where are you at, DJ, in the game? Where are you at? How many seasons have you played? What are you doing right now?
No, dude. I am one of the handful of folks that have been negatively impacted by this game. This game sucks the donkey right now. It freezes on me constantly. But
that's
Trey, however, Trey, well, hear me out. This is a two-parter. Trey has no issues playing. His never freezes. And then when mine doesn't,
I essentially bought mine off the black
market.
An
interception. I'm throwing an interception.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. Like it's so tough.
You guys will see in the second segment. I talked a little bit about it, but this game is remarkably difficult.
I feel like honestly, I think after playing this game, I'm more capable of being a D1 quarterback. I think I know what it's like to have a full onslaught blitz.
Have you guys ever thought about not playing on Heisman mode?
I have not. I have taken it down.
I don't even know if I'm on Heisman,
and it is still.
I'm on All-American.
And I was started on All-American. I played half my season. I was like, I'm turning it down so I can build up the wins, get used to it.
So you can play. So you can, yeah.
And I'm still, well, I like the realism. I don't mind taking an L if I really don't play well, but it's like when I come out in the first 3 games and Seth has thrown 22 picks, it's just like, come on. Everything you throw in the air is picked off.
Yeah.
The revamp passing is impossible.
I threw a running back, like a halfback screen, and it got picked off by D end, and he was off to the races against Tulane, and he was untouchable. Like he was gone.
That's probably catch him. A play that's going to happen. You've just spoken that into existence. Thanksgiving night. Ugh.
It happened.
All right, back to the basketball because we have one more headline, and it's the biggest basketball news that dropped today. Here we are, Monday, July 29th.
Massive.
Guys.
So
Kenny Hardaway is playing in the Danny Thomas Celebrity Am in a couple of weeks.
Dude. It's
Don't ask him a
monster.
single basketball question.
Yes.
You
Hey,
show up. I don't know where it
learn.
is. Is it at Southland again? My guy's been playing TPC all summer. Don't ask him a basketball question. Ask him how he was hitting it on the practice range. Ask him how the greens are rolling. Ask him how his golf game is in general. But big news. TJ and I'll be out there on the 5th hole right outside of our cafeteria.
Just eating lunch, watching it happen.
May try to carry a bag. You never know.
Mm.
You going to go out there for the media availability?
No.
All right. Hard no from Kenneth.
I have learned, unlike a lot of other media in the city, I learned my lessons from other people's mistakes. I will not be there.
That's fair.
Because invariably I'm going to ask Penny a basketball question.
Yeah, you can go. Just don't ask any questions.
What would your basketball question be?
I'm not falling into that trap.
Okay. Wow. That wasn't a trap. I was just genuinely interested. But now I'm very, very interested because it seems like it might have been inappropriate.
Yeah.
Trey, we had this beer.
We've had some sours, but I don't think we've had the prickly pear medicine man. Why?
It just tastes similar to something we've had before.
I mean, a lot of sours are pretty similar.
Yeah, I need to look at our beer list. This one seems oddly.
Just do a little Control F on the old Excel sheet.
Yeah.
While TJ's doing that, we're jumping over to football. We came out of AAC Media Days last week. I think the three of us, we picked our top conference selections, didn't we?
No, I think I was wrong.
I think we were all wrong.
We were all wrong.
I said T2 for Tulane and UTSA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you guys, who did you guys put first?
I picked
or second?
I did
Tulane,
South Florida.
I think I said Tulane, South Florida.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pick UTSA. I don't get that at all. There's quite literally nothing there that I understand about that, which makes me think that I'm an idiot at this point and that others just know more. I mean, you're relying on a quarterback. First of all of their success, yes, the head coach is still the same, but you're also losing the quarterback that they've had for 45 years, switching him out with, I think it's Luke McCall's son, who was previously at Colorado, and he's thrown like 2 passes maybe, and he's been asked when he's thrown them.
They look like a Joe Blow team without Frank Harris last year too in the games they played without him.
Yes, they did.
I just don't get it.
I don't know.
Get the hype. I don't know.
4 first place votes. Tulane got 2 of them. We were 23 of 30 first place votes. First time in program history we've been picked as the preseason favorite to win the conference. Now, since 1912, we've had 66 seasons where we were independent. So you're not getting picked to win a conference because you're not playing in a conference. The other 50-something odd years, especially you think about 2019, that team wasn't even, I think they were picked 3rd. Honestly, we were picked to win the West, but we still finished behind UCF and Cincy in the overall standings. Impressive though. Got the weight of the world on your shoulders.
With the divisions, I think that was kind of weird, and it kind of throws stuff off a little bit, in my opinion. But
I think it does too. But very interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Army, considerably higher than I thought they might be at 5th, but who the heck voted Army as a first place vote? Who did that?
Army.
Someone from Army, I'm sure.
Yeah, an Army veteran.
We sure it wasn't our boy BMOS.
Just out there trolling. I don't know.
Just out there trolling. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like something he would do.
All right. Media Day seemed like a good time though. Seth and Commish Pernetti were out there on the sticks playing college football 25. Good little media days.
Yeah.
But for the first time in program history, Tiggs projected as the best team in the conference. This will be, if they're able to do it, I think only 3 teams in the American Conference history have been picked to win the conference, and then 2 gone ahead and done it.
I was
The
about to
last
ask.
being Cincy in 2021, the team that made the playoff.
Yeah, I was going to
The
ask how many
other-
teams have actually been picked and actually won.
I would say the others, it's got to be UCF. I would say UCF in 2018. And I don't know what the other one would be. Was it UCF again?
Yeah, UCF or Cincinnati would be the only ones that make sense, right?
Or Houston. Houston might have been picked in 2015. Wasn't that the year they beat Florida State in the Peach Bowl or whatever?
Houston's dog water.
Yeah, I mean, they're gone. Anyway, we'd be the 4th team in conference history to be picked first place and then win it. And it's going to be a difficult task, given the 4 toughest conference games we play are all on the road, and 3 of them are against the teams that are immediately behind us in the preseason standings, playing at UTSA, at Tulane, and at South Florida. I mean, just no favors thrown our way at all.
Did they come out with projected first team guys yet? Has that come out yet? Because I know
I haven't seen any.
I don't think anything's come out yet.
I hadn't seen any from the conference, but we did get 2 today that you mentioned. That Seth listed to the Maxwell, right, preseason, and then
was he listed that he was there last year too, right?
Yeah, I think the
so,
Maxwell's
yeah.
a pretty big preseason list.
80 players are added to our preseason on the watch list.
Yeah.
So that's there. And then he wasn't the only one announced today. Our boy Colby Cox.
Yes, you're correct.
Let's go.
Listed to the Manley Award watch list for best long snapper in the nation. I think that one's only 30. Only 30 get listed that one. So shout out to our boy Colby getting listed there. So a couple more preseason accolades. I'm sure we'll see those continue to roll in as we get closer, and hopefully here in the next week or so before. I mean, camp starts today. This podcast is dropping Wednesday, July 31st. Camp has started today. As of probably right now, we're live. We're live at camp right now. We should have done that. We should have Kenny next season.
No,
we're filming a live show
anything.
from camp.
Yeah.
No, they'll let us. We can film from camp. We
can film outside. We could probably put up a table and film outside. I think we can work with Brock on that.
We're on good terms these days.
We're on good terms.
We could do that.
We've recovered from some serious errors in the past.
That was a different time, a different company, a different situation.
We've talked about this. We don't even know that Ryan knows that was you.
I don't think he knows.
You guys are boys now.
We are.
We'll get into that later.
Those of you listening and tuning in will see that here shortly after the break. Fellas, stadium update. They are demolishing that thing. I'm about to share my screen and show y'all where we're at right now.
The live cam?
Yeah, the live cam.
Yeah, it feels like we're getting a section a day at this point in time.
They've taken down more than, I mean, you fellas see that?
Yeah. Well,
Is
I
it
don't
up?
see it. Yeah, it's loaded.
Look at that.
Look at that massive.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned about how much overhang we've got right here.
Yeah.
With no structural support. We got one section taken out today with a weekend. I mean, this thing's coming in. How weird is this about to look for the entire season with just this big ass chunk of nothing? You'll be able to see the Coliseum, TJ, from our seats in the event center. It's going to be weird. It's going to be so weird.
I'll tell you what stinks is it's something that's not going to be mentioned enough is like, what's the concession situation on that side going to be? Because clearly they're going to funnel you in through just one spot. And like, if you're on that home side and you're in like the chair backs there, you're going to get funneled in through one, maybe two spots. You're not going to be able to go to the concourse. I guess you're going to have to use all the ancillary bathrooms and I guess concessions as well. Like that's a pain. But
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, fortunately, it's only
for the
gonna be,
betterment.
it's a couple hundred people that are sitting down low. So
Dude,
hopefully, it's not
here's the thing.
too bad for them.
There are
but
people that are elderly sitting in those sections over there
Mm.
that are gonna have to now walk a good ways.
that's true. Maybe they'll throw out some.
I'm not trying to get very specific or anything. But
some porta johns, but it's going to be uncomfortable over there for 2 years, I think.
worth it.
So a really
will be.
interesting question was brought up today, or brought up this week in the Discord, and I wanted to bring it here and see what your guys' thoughts were. But obviously, it's an active construction zone. They have a whole construction firm that is handling the demolition and handling the renovations and all that kind of stuff. But invariably, things happen, right? Like invariably, things go down on construction zones. Like,
oh yeah.
What happens if that field becomes unplayable? Where does the Tigers go? Where do they play their home field?
This came up, like you said in the Discord, and somebody mentioned this, and I feel like I remember seeing this as well, that it was previously mentioned that our home games, a possible venue would be Vaught Hemingway in Oxford.
No, hard pass.
Hard pass.
Hard pass, dude.
I would say it's there or Jonesboro, unless you're trying to play it like CBHS or MUS.
Or Collierville.
Or Collierville.
Yeah, Collierville Stable, it's not bad. I do think it's more than likely going to. I don't know.
Unless they get freaky
Jones Boogie Stadium, dude,
and put a field inside AutoZone Park.
It's not big enough.
I don't know that to be true. No, I don't know that. Big enough.
Plenty of baseball parks have football games played in them.
Could you imagine? They already have enough issues with that outfield because of 901FC games. Could you imagine playing home games at AutoZone?
Maybe I think blast, honestly.
It would be
because
but I think they could get it to work.
We get a lot of company tickets to AutoZone Park, so we could work out something real nice there, I think.
Get up there on the party deck.
Exactly.
What's AutoZone seat? Like 12,000 or something? 10,000?
Maybe that.
I don't know. Let me see.
I think putting it AutoZone Park would be the best thing, just from an experience standpoint.
12,512.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want to drive to Oxford.
Well, I don't know. Now Wikipedia says 10,000 even. And this one says 14,000. I mean, this is absurd.
Jesus.
Somewhere between 10 and 15.
Oh, so it was 14,000 in 2008 to 2014. Right now, from 2015 to present, it's 10,000. So they knocked out 4,000 seats.
Wow.
Is that because they stopped letting you sit on the bluff? They would let.
I think that's exactly.
Probably.
I think that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
They would let 4,000 people out on the bluff.
It's wild.
Why did they stop doing that? That was such a like
$5 tickets. Well, it's because it was on the bluff, it was on that hill, and so kids would just be flying down that thing, man.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's got to be a safety.
And they got rid of all those games and stuff over there too. I mean, I don't know who's running that program over there, but it's backwards. It's backwards. Then you get back to their roots. I don't know what would happen. It would be interesting. I hope and pray that nothing happens, because at least if it happened in the off season, you could somewhat prepare for it, right? And get it communicated. If it say we play a game there and then shit goes awry and you have to figure out something for the next 6 games
a cluster
that you're supposed to, it would be brutal.
I said
or worst case scenario, all of those away game or all those home games flip to away games or something, and you play on the road for the whole year.
No
Disgusting.
way.
Don't even speak it into existence.
Don't even say
I'm
that.
just saying that would be. Can you imagine? Most
I said this in the Discord
season of ever. You're projected to win the conference, then all of a sudden shit goes crazy, and you have to play every game on the road.
Would that not be the most Memphis
your strength
thing
of schedule
ever?
through the roof?
Exactly.
It would be the most Memphis thing ever. And now I'm honestly, I'm sitting here mentally preparing for that to happen.
No,
Just to
I mean, they're gonna
be
take a swing on this old press box area. It's gonna crumble onto the field. It's gonna concave in everything. We're gonna have to build a new stadium. We're not gonna have a stadium till 2028.
Did you see our friend Scott Foreman, former caretaker of Tiger of Tom 3, posted a picture on his Twitter of the elevators going up the press box. There's 2 different elevators, and they had knocked through. One of them was the inside of it was steel, and the other one was mortar, or not mortar, but concrete bricks,
Cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks. Thank you. And you could see it. It was completely unlevel. Like, I can't tell you how many times over the years I have traveled up and down those press box elevators.
They're pretty sketchy, so that makes sense.
With
And
no
I'm like,
issues.
What? Oh man,
It worked.
dude.
I'll tell you who didn't see that tweet, and it's Timothy, because he's blocked.
Oh.
They got in an argument over the naming of specific East Memphis neighborhoods, I think.
Yeah, what was considered East Memphis? Like what neighborhood? He blocked me. I don't know.
So TJ can't see that tweet.
Well,
Unblock
have
me,
to share it
Scott.
with
I think that was wild.
Scott.
It is East Memphis. It is.
It's been a long time.
I'm sorry.
Scott, we're friends of the program. You're a friend of the program, man. Come on. Unblock our guy TJ. He's a good man. He's a good man.
All right, our last topic before we get to our break, and then the second segment. TJ, update us on conference realignment and your sources, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, what you're feeling, what's going on.
They're wild times, and I think it all depends on how you want to look at this, right? But basically, the entire fight that Florida State and Clemson, presumably Clemson, I would imagine, are building around getting out of the ACC grant of rights is centered around getting out of that I guess it's more so that huge exit fee by 2036, or at least so you and Florida State and Clemson and myself, we all thought that was the year that they were going to have to pay until, I think it was, what was it, 20, I'm trying to remember the years now. So their original deal ends in 25, and then it extended through 2036. So they were going to have to pay this huge exit fee to get out of the grant of rights from 25 through 36. So that 10-year, I don't remember the number. It was absurd, like some ridiculous amount. But news is going to come out probably this week. I'd be shocked if it's not already kind of trickling out now. But back in 2021, I think it was, ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips basically wrote up an extension to the grant of rights. It was kind of like a hand drafted document that said, hey, we will extend the grant of rights from 2025 through 2036. I'm going to sign off on it. Like he signed off on it, and he sent it off to ESPN. And however, no new grant of rights was ever actually formally drawn up. It wasn't sent out to all of the ACC team members. No one signed it other than Jim Phillips. He signed it, sent it off, which now makes this whole thing null and void.
That ain't holding up in a court of law.
Yeah. So
what?
No grant of rights was created.
Wow.
Nothing was written up. No team is aware of it. The only reason they think they have a grant of rights deal beyond 2025, I think is technically the year, is because the ACC told them that they did. And ESPN is kind of working off that because the commissioner signed it. But technically with grant of rights, every school is also supposed to sign them. Essentially,
we're sticking together till 36.
Yeah, so the grant of rights, as they know it today, is null and void.
What?
The extension aspect of it, that is, right? So the ACC's grant of rights, as we know it, it technically ends in 2025. So what does that mean for Florida State? What does that mean for Clemson? Well, now they only have to pay the conference exit fees. They don't have that huge, ridiculous bajillion dollar payout. Now it's something like 200 million, I think, to get out of the conference, something like that. I'm probably butchering the dollar amount there, but so if you're Florida State, you're Clemson, you just got to fork up the 200 million. And I guess that applies for any other team that has real interest in leaving. Could it be UVA, Virginia Tech, UNC, NC State, whoever. I think we've seen everything drawn up under the sun. So what do you do with that information, right? The ACC is a conference that I thought Memphis had a real shot at joining, right? You're going to have some teams leave. They're going to need to just kind of fill up the rest of it, right? If you look at the Big 12, who are their biggest home run hitters, right? Who are their perennial powerhouse teams? They're considered a power conference, right? They're the big
For
three.
now. Yeah.
Who do they have? Now you have ACC, they lose Florida State, Clemson, probably from top to bottom. Even if they added the best of the rest of the G5s, right? They're probably still not top to bottom better than the Big 12, but at the same time, they're not really that much worse, in my opinion. I mean, like you could have, and I guess this all depends on who leaves the ACC, right? Like Memphis could have one really good year in a new drawn up ACC, and it could be them. It could be SMU, which brings up.
I think it also depends on it's been Florida State, Clemson. If they leave and go to the Big 12, and then Louisville and whoever, right? Then the Big 12 is obviously a step ahead. But even whatever's left over with the ACC, if you get added to that, it is better than where you're at right now.
So let's assume all of this comes to light this week. It breaks out. Your Cal, your SMU, your Stanford, you just gave up where you're at. Granted, Cal and Stanford, you're on sinking sand. What about SMU? They're playing for free right now.
Yeah, they're not getting anything anyway.
They're not getting anything. So they just left to be duped by the ACC thinking, and I don't know if the ACC deceived everyone on purpose, or if this was just like, hey, I signed it. I thought we were good. I didn't know all you guys need to sign it as well. Like, I'm the commissioner. I work for you all. I'm a representation of you all.
Well, how would that work with SMU? They would have to have signed a grant of rights to play in the ACC as well.
I thought so too. I really did think anytime you have a change of that whole process, they have to sign off on something, as would Cal, I would Stanford. But
watch SMU be the only one to have signed it other than the commissioner.
Yeah, something like that, right? But I think one thing that this could go a couple different ways, right? I mean, think about 2026, the ACC technically would not have a TV deal. I guess they're still technically a conference. They just wouldn't have a media rights deal. Obviously, they'd have to build something out real quickly.
Bluff City Media will get in on that, and we'll broadcast all the games. This will be your 3-man booth right here.
Let's go.
I think it could work out good in the long run for Florida State and Clemson, because they would, essentially just have absolutely all of the power here. They could go to Florida State, and Florida State would have their back against the wall, despite, probably everyone hates them because they just got caught lying to them, again, on purpose or not, I don't know. But you could be like, hey, we want all of that money that we think we deserve. Pay us the, whatever the number is, right? I don't know what they make now. Pay us the $40 million a year, and then give everybody else their value, be it 30 million, whatever the numbers are. We're just making up stuff right now, but they could do that. They could stick there. I don't know that the SEC and the Big 10 and the Big 12 truly want to expand. I think the only reason they talk about expanding is because they have the fear of everyone else expanding into those markets. But if the ACC ends up staying together, SEC has 16, Big 10 has 18, and Big 12 has
16.
16?
Yeah,
they have 16. So, like, what kind of real expansion are we actually going to have here? Assuming in that life, the ACC builds it out, gives Florida State, gives Clemson what they want. everyone else sticks around because no one else truly wants to expand anyhow, right? That's kind of the vibe it feels like, because the Big Ten doesn't know what they have right now. They've just added a lot to their conference. They don't know what they're going to have. You know, are you going to be watering down the product of Michigan, of Penn State, Ohio State by adding these teams, and you're just going to keep adding more? They're obviously selective on who they're adding. If you're the SEC, you don't really need anything. What do you need to add? What does adding a Virginia or Virginia Tech give you other than a new market? It's like you have a Vanderbilt already. It's not like you need GPA boosters. It's not. There's no team you can add that's really going to make your product better. You're already the best. So what do you add? What do you get by adding anything? So it's interesting. We'll see how it goes. But I guess at the same time, you could have worst case scenario, and you could be the ACC, and all this falls apart, and you've got some combination of Wake Forest, Syracuse, Boston College, and two teams, a two-team pairing of Georgia Tech, Pitt, Louisville. Like, I mean, who are the best? Who is left in the ACC outside of, you know, Florida State, Clemson, NC State, UNC, Virginia Tech? Like, who is left out of that? Right?
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this all comes to light and this ACC deal is done in 26. What's going to happen?
Jesus.
Yeah. We'll find out. I expect this to hit this week. I would be shocked if people don't start talking about it at this point in time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. So just remember,
I don't know if that's true.
When USA Today puts it out,
you heard it from TJ.
TFT was your boy, first and foremost. With that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will be live in the facility with a one-on-one interview with head ball coach Ryan Silverfield.
Oh.
So come back after this break for that. We'll be right back.
Since I've lived here, I get one question all the time. Have you met Barack Obama yet? You play golf all the time. And so it finally happened. I got a chance to meet him. I kind of say I turned into like a fanboy. And the one thing he said to me was, "Oh, I hear you're the guy I got to play golf with because you got a good golf game."
Yeah.
You're damn right. When we gonna play?
When are we gonna play? Here, give me your number.
He had the pimp walk. He still had the little strut. Gave me the dap. There's those moments, you know, you meet people and it's like, oh, that's cool. We got to meet such and such. That was cool, man. But it's not nothing. It's like man, it's still just a person. This was different. This was like, hi, my name is Bear Knight. Yeah, inside it's like, but outside it's like, it's cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
John Morant had it was a Hall of Fame day for him at Murray State.
Right.
You know, that's a Murray State kind of thing. The NBA stuff we're going to,
You got your possibly your first actual look at the Ja2s.
Yeah, man, he
Hall
looked
of Fame
so
server.
good. He just looked like a good ambassador just for everything. Like he just looked really well put together and like a G. I was really excited to see him.
Yeah, and the shoes look really cool too.
And the shoes look fly.
Because I was really scared at some of those leaks that they were going to be awful.
Man, because the Ja ones were so good, good.
So
like
good.
every single, like every one of them are good. They're just all good. It would be really crappy if the Ja2s were just like,
yeah, it's awful.
Tune into the Daily Grind with your host, Luke Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What's up? We're back inside the facility here with head honcho, old ball coach Ryan Silverfield. Ryan, glad to have you on the show. Second year in a row for you here on Tigers Untapped. It's becoming a little bit of a tradition. Some are saying, TJ and I, this is the best off-season tradition for Tiger football.
Well, I think that's what I think if you ask fans what's actually the most tradition that they think about when they think about Tiger football, I think it's Tigers on Tap with me and you.
Yeah.
You know, back for year 2. I think that's more important than any other history or tradition in the Tiger program.
That's love to hear it. We're down 1. TJ not with us today. Obviously, there's a big gap here. He's stuck at the gate. You guys put up their security gate. I don't know if you've listened to the show, but TJ had a run-in while he was here on campus back in college days. Stole a police Segway.
Okay.
And so they're not letting him on campus. So it's just me and you today.
I saw his pictures on there as not being allowed in. Anyways.
Oh, they do have those. Okay. Well, TJ, if you're listening, you're not allowed on campus. I feel like you guys built a lot of momentum this offseason. Coming out of the bowl game, a big victory over Iowa State. As we've moved in, there's been funding for the stadium. You had the Smith family donation. You've had the FedEx NIL deal. Recruiting's off to a hot start. Just kind of talk about how special this offseason's been and how, as we head into 2024, you guys can continue to kind of build upon that and continue the momentum going forward for the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it did start right with the end of the Liberty Bowl game, right? Coming away with a victory, getting a 10-win season, and then it parlayed into so many great things happening, almost a domino effect, right? It came, with the quarterback coming back, Seth Hennigan, right? Along with so many of our other players, so many of our greats saying, hey, I want to continue to be a part of this program. I want to see what we can do in 2024 football season. So I think that was a domino effect. Okay, you get all the great players deciding, hey, we want to come back and be a part of something special. Okay, and then, thank goodness for our administration. They said, hey, we'll keep you around a few more years, and they extended me. So
I didn't even mention that, the contract. Yeah, congratulations on that.
Those are all great things. And then you look at what goes on from there, right? Then the announcement of the NIL, right? Great, obviously so grateful for the Smith family and FedEx for what we're able to get done, and that pledge to our athletic program, which is going to be great for all of the University of Memphis. And then you look from there, and then now the stadium renovations. I mean, just within the last few days, we're getting to see some of that stuff getting bulldozed. It's just at exciting times, right? Obviously grateful for Laird Veach, but really excited about our new athletic director, Ed Scott, coming to the fold. So there's all these things going on that are occurring, and a lot of excitement heading in towards the future, and that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned we talked about the construction, phase 2 underway, demolition. Have you been over there to see kind of what's going on? I know, Kenny, you were out there earlier this week. There's been some video. And how is that? Have you been a part of those conversations about how that might impact game day experience for not only you guys, but as fans? And I know in the preseason, a lot you guys like to have a scrimmage or two there. Is that going to be impact? Are you able to kind of still have those practices and stuff, given it's an active construction zone?
Yeah, so I haven't been out there yet. My plan is, we were at Media Days when they started it, or else I told them I'd been out there with a hard hat helping out. But I'll get by there very shortly and go see it. But then we also plan, as a staff and as a team and as a program, to go out there and have our practices. We'll have 2 of them out there actually before the first game, our mock game, a scrimmage out there. I think it's so important for our guys to get a feel for it. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's a totally different deal. It's going to be a different look, but we're excited about it. And then, I'm appreciative of our administration who have included me on the conversations. Hey, this is what we're thinking about with the stadium. Any thoughts, ideas? Also, people within our department have sat there and said, hey, have we thought about this? And there's, a million ideas and thoughts. When it's all said and done, it's going to be one of the greatest stadiums in college football.
It's going to look fantastic. The renderings are awesome. I think it's gonna be a little bit weird for probably a year or two with that big gaping hole there in an active construction zone, but I'm excited to see what it ends up looking like come 2025. We talk about the off season from you. Just how's summer been? Off season, you done anything fun? Any cool vacations? You've been playing College Football 25. That's a release coming out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So summer one. My biggest concern is obviously that the program, and now the NCAA allows us to do OTA, so those have been going well. Just wrapped up summer conditioning today, but quite excited about the direction that's going. And then personally, I wasn't one of those coaches that went and spent 2 weeks at the beach. I actually went one weekend down to Tampa and saw Ice Cube and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Wow!
The next weekend,
was that a collab?
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely.
Together.
And then then went up to Chicago and saw the Rolling Stones at Soldier Field. And then the next weekend went and saw Garth Brooks in Vegas. So just kind of found my way back to the office during the week, but on the weekends did some trips, saw some good concerts, and had a good time.
You got quite the genres covered there with Garth, Red Hot, Ice Cube. What's your game day playlist look like?
I'm pretty old school, so I appreciate good classic rock. But usually on game day, I usually get myself going with some AC/DC, maybe some Rage Against the Machine. But then I gotta calm myself back down, so I neutral thinking and all that stuff.
Throw some Garth on after that to calm down.
I don't want to be headbutting the
Friends
players
in
before
low
the
places,
game, but
yeah.
I get going pretty good. I'm pretty calm, and then within 30 minutes before the run out, I think every hair on the back of my neck standing up, and I'm ready to roll. And then right when I run out, okay, time to catch my breath
there you go.
and get to going.
There you go. So no college football 25 for me. I've seen some videos. I know they had it at AAC Media Days. Seth played Commissioner Pernetti. You didn't jump on the sticks there?
Yeah, I'm so used to the, back in my day it was the Atari with the one button or the Nintendo.
They have a setting you can do one button controls.
Perfect. Well, good.
We should have done it. We got the big screen here. We could have played. We could have put you on the
what
one
are your
button
weekend
control.
plans? I mean, I think that's something we could be
Let's
doing.
do it. I've seen the pictures of having the players over in the pool. I'll gladly
Come on
bring
over,
the kids
yeah.
over. We'll jump in.
But
get on the sticks.
Yeah, I have not partaked in it. I've warned our players, hey, once it gets to midnight, shut the damn thing off and get some sleep.
I will tell you, it is difficult to shut that thing off. It's a great game. I don't know if you've seen your ratings or anything, kept up with it. They've got possible. We're the highest rated G5, so they think very highly. I'll throw this out there. Multiple times on social media, the computer generated. These are people that aren't even using Memphis as like in their dynasty mode. The computer one of our players has won the Heisman on the computer. You want to guess who that is? There's an obvious choice that you would think that it would be, but I'll tell you it's not the obvious choice.
Well, Caden Costa, the kicker?
Yeah. No, it is Kobe Drake.
Kobe Drake.
It's more than once. Even The Athletic did a simulation, and he won the Heisman. I think he had 100 receptions for 1,500 yards and 22 tutties, so let's sign us up for that right now.
Generally, the Heisman Trophy winner comes from a top 10 team in the country. And if Kobe Drake wins the Heisman, I think we'll all be just happy.
Absolutely.
So, I think the simulation is probably as real as it gets, and can we go ahead and mark that off and say, hey,
where do
the
we
season's
sign?
been played and let's go?
Where do we sign? Sign us up. I will say, as good as we are, I have struggled. It's one of my favorite games, so I had to get a new system for it. I've created a dynasty, but defense is impossible. It is, Coach, I couldn't stop the FCS Pandas. At one point, their QB was 20 of 21 throwing on me.
Well, we got to teach you some defensive skills.
I know, I do. I will not be applying for any defensive analyst roles, and I do not envy Jordan Hankins whatsoever.
So you won't be in the stands yelling, play defense anymore. You're like,
hey,
it's hard enough, I get it.
Yeah, I get it now. If it's anything like that in real life, I do not envy Jordan Hankins one bit.
One of my thoughts was with all these people now playing this college football game, there's going to be, right, everybody else tells me how to coach a game and how to play it. Now it's twofold. Right now everybody's, you should have run the, what about the smash pattern on 3rd and 6, Coach? What do you think? I'm like, oh boy, now everybody's going to have answers and I can't wait. And
you got to send over your college football 25 resume before you can give any sort of advice to coach on what they need to be doing. But so speaking of Jordan, new DC, got a good shot of kind of what to expect during the bowl game. I think a really solid performance there and a big win, 0 yards rushing. I don't want to go into anything schematically to give anything away, but what are you excited about? What are you expecting to see from that side of the ball with Jordan at the helm?
Yeah, obviously had the opportunity to work with Coach Hankins for a few years, so understood what he was all about and the passion and energy he brings to that side. The bowl game was a snippet of what we expect. I told him if he can hold every team to 0 yards rushing, he'll have a long, successful career, and he can be right by my side the whole time.
Absolutely.
But no, obviously, be able to return some of our other coaches as well was important. But I think, we're going to see a multitude of defense, right? We're going to be able to play 4 down, 3 down, change up the coverages. I think all that stuff's so important this day and age in college football. I think if you just sit back and say, hey, this is what we are, we're a 4 down quarters team, then you're going to get beat in the face every time. But I like his passion. I like his energy. He's intelligent. He's going to change things up. Our players are excited about it. And, I'll be quite frank. We have not been where we need to be on defense the last few years. And it's my job to get it turned around. Got great faith in the defensive staff and the defensive players to get us to where we need to be.
Awesome. Lining up the staff, Jordan's not the only. You got Spencer Winsey that's come over from Ohio, Reggie Howard. Talk about some of those new staff members on that side too and what they're bringing.
Yeah, right. It always starts with Charles Clark, the guy that's been with me now going on year 5. He's kind of been my right-hand man as our deputy head coach. And then you're exactly right, guy like Spencer Nowinski, who was a defensive coordinator at the University of Ohio, top 5 defense in the college football, and just does a tremendous job. So excited about his acumen and bringing him. Coach Hankins will coach the linebackers and then the back end, where I mentioned Coach Clark, and then Reggie Howard, right, a Memphis legend. right? 7 years playing in the NFL, picked off Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I always sell that one. I tell them, you need to. I would be wearing that T-shirt that said I picked
with
off
the
Tom
picture
Brady.
of it.
Well, yeah, I picked off Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I would. That's all I'd wear.
There you go.
But you know, and then obviously he most recently coached with the Commanders in the NFL, and then came back to his hometown of Memphis. So really excited about that defensive staff. There's some new rules in college football. I'm sure everybody can coach. So if you're part of the staff, you can come on out and coach. It's just part of it.
Nice. We talked about the coaching staff. You've had the last couple of years the benefit of having what I mean, in my eyes, were kind of coaches on the field, and Quindell Johnson, Simeon Blair kind of played that role last year. Is there a guy on this year's team that's kind of filling in those shoes and can kind of be that field general defensively, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, look, Greg Rubin's going to be playing most of that safety role. Rubin will be a 4-year starter, right? A local guy that's done it the right way. So Greg's going to be out there. We got other guys. As you guys saw, we bought in a ton of safeties in the transfer portal. And so it's kind of finding that mix with what those guys can get done. And then, I think Chandler Martin is going to continue to be one of the leaders of our defense. Quite excited about what he brings back. A mature, smart young man that was a first-team all-conference linebacker. So that voice is huge kind of at that linebacker position plus that safety position.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned Chandler, and, he was a FCS All-American from ETSU, but kind of, I would say to the casual fan or those that don't kind of go and dive into the rankings or watch the film, was a little bit under the radar and then comes in and is immediately impactful, right? You talk about first team all-conference, he's probably the best linebacker, in my opinion, in the league. Is there a guy on this year's roster, offense or defense, that's maybe kind of coming in under the radar that you guys feel really good about that could be as impactful as Chandler kind of was last year?
I think that's interesting because there's some new faces and there's still competition to be had, right? We talked about all those guys returning on offense. I think one of the guys that doesn't ever get enough credit is Anthony Lamphere. I think he's one of those guys that's just been a really solid starter. It's done a great job for us. Offensive line, no one knows their name, so I can list out the guys. I think we got to see, and fans got to see a glimpse of what Sutton Smith is capable of, right? Mario Anderson's getting a lot of the accolades, but Sutton Smith continues to do a great job. I think he's going to have a huge impact on us this season. A guy like Cortland Marsh, a name that most fans would say, who is that? He was a transfer from Samford. I think he's going to do a lot of great things at a safety position as well. Kobe Minor, the defensive back corner, transfer from IU. I think he's going to be, but we got a ton of guys. I mean, I can sit here and name, and you'd say, wow, really? But to that being said, I think we have more depth than we've ever had at every position.
So we talked about last year, and I think Seth had said it, Joe Skate had said it, they felt like this was the most talented team. Do you think that this year's team can maybe take that title of being the most talented? I mean, you brought back a lot of production. A lot of those guys are a year older. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, very, very talented. Obviously, going into my 9th year, I've seen a lot of talented teams here, right? The 2019 Cotton Bowl team, I mean, I think there's 8 guys alone that are NFL players in there. So from a talent standpoint, I'm not going to sit here and argue, hey, this guy was, look, Tony Pollards of the world, the Anthony Millers. Those were
special guys.
Yeah, special guys. And then, but look, I don't know how many of our guys are NFL guys, but I think we got a bunch of guys that love to play football, that love playing as a team. That bleed blue, and I think that's going to pay dividends.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned the offensive line. Jump into that. Offensively, you have brought back a ton of production. You have some holes to kind of fill in that offensive line. I think you said the other day it's the deepest that position group has ever been. As a fan looking in, that may be one of their spots of question, how's the offensive line going to look? We've lost 3 starters. Kind of just tell us about that offensive line, your expectations, kind of what they're looking like as you guys head into the fall.
We brought in a bunch of different guys, right? We expect some of the guys that have been here to continue to step up, right? The guys like Xavier Hill, which was a first-team all-conference O-lineman that played multiple positions last year, right? Jonah Gamble is a multi-year starter at every position, right? With those guys returning. We brought in a guy that I think will probably be our center named Trent Holler, who was at Marshall, who had quite a bit of suitors when he went in the portal as well. And then kind of looking, what Malachi Breland, right? The guy that got the start at right guard in the Liberty Bowl that, before that no one had ever heard of.
Right.
You remember we had 2 offensive linemen, 2 of our starters, our starting left tackle and our starting right guard, actually opted out of the bowl game and were in the portal. And then you look, we got a guy like Jalen Nichols, right, who started 18 games at South Carolina. Chris Adams, who started at ODU. Kedrell Lewis, who started at ULM. So we got some of these guys. We got some talent. Now let's go out there and see what they're capable of.
Yeah. Offensive line, hopefully they're opening up all kinds of holes all year long. You've talked about Mario Anderson a little bit, Sutton Smith in the backfield. Mario, I think it was last week, set some pretty lofty expectations for himself. I don't know if you saw this. He said he's going after D'Angelo's single-season rushing record of 1,946 yards.
Wow. Well,
what does that say about Mario, and what can we expect from him and Sutton out of the backfield?
Yeah, look, I appreciate Mario's confidence, and I love the fact that he's got lofty goals. I don't care about stats. I really don't. All I care about is winning, and we're going to have to run the ball to win football games, and I think Mario's going to have a great season. But it doesn't matter if he rushes for 3,000 yards or 500, as long as we win football games. And it's a team game, and I think we got a lot of talent back there. We had another running back, Greg Desiree from UMass. I probably butchered his last name, but I tried. Brandon Thomas is coming back. So we got a lot of talent back there. Got a lot of faith in every single one of them. I appreciate Mario's confidence, and I'm sure he's certainly capable of it. But whatever the game leads us to.
Yeah, if he does break that record, it's going to be hard for Kobe to win the Heisman, I think, because 2,000 rushing yards in a year.
Well, if we have a 2,000-yard rusher and a 100-yard catch receiver, we'll be putting up some good video game numbers.
I mean, the video game numbers will definitely be there. The last couple of years you've talked about, it's been a part of college football and basketball all across the nation, is roster turnover, right? 35% of rosters getting flipped over. I feel like your staff, you guys, especially this year, have done a tremendous job with bringing back key pieces. You talk about Seth Hennigan coming back for a fourth year, Rock Taylor, Demir, Chandler Martin, Gramonte Hamilton, guys that had probably opportunities to hit the portal. And not even just that, I mean, on the coaching staff side as well, right? There's been talk about Tim Cramsey had opportunities to leave and he's come back. So what does that say about the culture you've built here and those guys wanting to be in Memphis and accomplishing, a goal to get together?
So very fortunate. I think it always starts with your current players and current staff. I mean, it's, so often, maybe we can go get this guy. No, if we can keep our guys that I think are fit what we want to do, it speaks volumes. But whenever I talk about culture, it always starts with the guys in the locker room. They're the ones that create it. They're the ones that set the standards every single day. And it's my job and our job as a staff to hold them accountable to those standards. And what I love about this group of guys is, man, they know where the bar's set. They understand the expectation. They understand the standards. And they're going out there every single day and working towards that. And so I think you get a bunch of like-minded guys that say, you know what, we want to be a part of something. I always try to be fair to our players, very forthright. There's some of our players that probably have come to me and said, this may not be the best fit for you. And there's other players saying, here's a reason why you should stay. And I think the majority of the guys sit back and say, you know what, this is a special place. I think they believe in the way we do things. They love this city. They love this university. We've got an excellent setup within our football program, right? The way we're doing things academically. We had the highest GPA in program history last semester, right? We're still top 10% in the country in internship opportunities. So when all of a sudden, you're a player sitting there saying, man, I got everything I need here. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we get to go compete for a championship.
Absolutely.
Let's stay here. Let's stick this thing out and see what we're capable of.
Absolutely. So you talk about competing for a championship. I think fall camp starts next Wednesday. I know last year's kind of mantra slogan was finish, right? The previous years we kind of had some struggles in finishing out games, whether it was in the fourth quarter or where not. I feel like you guys did a good job of that last year. There were games that came down on the wire and you found ways to finish. Is there a mantra for this season heading in, and why is it parade or national championship?
Yeah, look, I think, well, we're going with what you want, huh? Parade or national championship, that sounds great. This is coach speak. Obviously, we don't even talk, national championship, playoffs, or any of that stuff right now. We're just focused on one day at a time, but that's true coach speak, but that's the reality of it. In the years past, we continue to talk about being all in. I think people that understand that's our mantra, and that's what we live by on a day-to-day. And one of the unique things this year, we really are honing in on, okay, every unit, right, has to stand for something. So like the defensive line, they call themselves the Cadillacs. Okay, what does that stand for? What can we hold you accountable for? What's your identity as a defensive line? And so those guys are sitting here saying, okay, hey, we're going to be the toughest defensive line. We're going to run to the ball on every play. You can count on us to handle our academics, and you can count on us when the going gets tough. We're going to be there to lift the rest of the team up. Okay, great. Let's write that down. That's what you are about. That's what you are now. All right, let's live it, and let's be it day to day. And I think they take a lot of pride in it, right? They get to design their own brand. They made T-shirts of it, and I think it's kind of cool, right? Rather than saying, hey, all right, D-line, no, Cadillacs, let's go get this thing.
Okay.
And so we did that with each position, and I think they take pride in a sense of saying, okay, here's what we're all about, right? We're Memphis Tigers, and I always say it always starts with the overall program, right? Then the team itself, right? It's got to be team over me every single time. But man, let's have a lot of pride in our position group, right? And if we do what we're supposed to as individuals, then as a position group, the team and the wing will take care of itself.
Yeah, so that's all player led and come
Yeah.
up? Is automotive? Is that Cadillacs? Are there other vehicle units?
No,
on the team?
they
Are
can
the
be
only
whatever
one?
they want. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
No Ferraris or anything? No
Ferraris,
G-Wagon, nothing?
No G-Wagons, right? Like, so it's like the defensive backs are Paul Manuels, yeah, and they got a neat graphic with it. And they actually had it on their warm-up shirts last year, but their training camp shirts will have the Paul Manuels logo on it, and they love it. And that's what they break down on. And hey, any bit of incentive, motivation to get them going.
No, that's cool. That's a good team building kind of thing. And team building, I know in years past there's kind of been, I think, like a go away to the Jackson camp type of thing. Are you guys doing something like that this year?
Yeah. So since COVID, we haven't been able to go to Lambeth.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought it was a neat deal. One of the issues was I always worry about player safety. I didn't think the field conditions were where they needed to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, we couldn't go there during COVID, and then as costs continue to rise, it just didn't make sense. Obviously, we got everything we need here.
Sure.
I'd love to go get away camp for 2 weeks and just go get somewhere. But this day and age, sometimes it's just easier to stay here.
Sure. So you were at AAC Media Days earlier this week for the first, which is hard to believe for me, the first time in program history, the unanimous selection for number 1 in the conference. 23 out of 30 first place votes. I know you've heard that, you've been there, you've seen it, but how do you block that out for the team? I know that you've said as the head coach that's your job, but what does that look like? I know it's taking it day by day, but how do you keep them focused on, hey, we got UNA week 1, and if you lose that game, it's
Absolutely.
You're starting off on the wrong foot, and that's kind of all out the window already.
It's got to be the communication from the day they get back in January, right? No one should ever have higher expectations than we have of ourselves, ever, right? I appreciate the media, and it's great that we're on a national stage. Like I always say, I give credit to those people that came before us that allow us, the Memphis program, to be in such a positive light. But now we got to go out and do the work, and that doesn't mean anything. You've heard me throughout my career here, put the blinders on, let's go get it. And so you're exactly right. If we don't handle our business versus UNA, it's going to be a disaster of a season. So it's a one game at a time approach, and we can't even think about it. People are saying, oh, are you ready for Tulane on Thanksgiving? Am I ready for Tulane? I'm not even thinking about that, I mean, my mindset is how do we go 1-0 today? And that's going to be the same way in training camp, right? Let's go out there, attack today, dominate the day. And it's a true mindset and an approach that our guys understand. Let's go take care of business versus UNA, all right? And next week we've got Troy. Then the next week, right, Florida State. Then next week, Navy. We've got to handle our business 1 week at a time, and I can't even fathom thinking about something other than that.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned some of the games that are coming out of AAC. Who did you piss off in the conference to get this road schedule?
Yeah.
You got UTSA, Tulane on the road, USF on the road, at Navy. You're talking about the 3 contenders right behind you, all on the road.
I don't know. We got a new commissioner. I need to meet with him and say,
just
hey, let's
get a little smooch in
yeah,
there.
what's going on? I mean,
I guess the flip side of it is next year maybe they'll all be coming here and you kind of get the reverse. But
who knows?
I'd like to split that up maybe a little bit.
Certainly, look, they're all tough, as we know. But prior to COVID, we had never won at Navy in program history. We were able to get that done. It's a tough place to play. Then you look at going on the road to South Florida on Friday night, right? We'll both be coming off buys, playing them on an ESPN game on Friday night down there in Raymond James Stadium. And then, you turn back around and later on you're at UTSA in the Alamo Dome, which has been notorious for selling out. Yeah. And then the game that's very far away is, at Tulane, Thanksgiving, national spotlight game. There's no longer any other college football game.
I don't think we've ever played a Thanksgiving Day game, and they moved the Egg Bowl to I think Friday or Saturday.
They moved it for our game. So,
yeah, we are the lone college football game on Thanksgiving. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yep. National spotlight.
There you go.
Let's
That's
go
awesome.
Get it.
Your first couple of years, we talk about the conference games, the toughest ones being on the road. I think you guys were 2-10 on the road with those 2 Navy wins. Last year you went 4-0 in conference on the road. Is that a testament to the guys' maturity levels, getting older, understanding, being in those situations, or did you guys approach or take a different approach to road games last season?
100%. I think it goes to maturity. Really, when you talk about it, and it starts always with the quarterback, right? When you start a 17-year-old quarterback,
there's going to be some bumps.
There's going to be some bumps, right? And there's always, I think the older you get, the less you let outside factors, come into it. I talk to our guys all about, can you focus for 60 minutes, right? For the 3.5 hours of game, can you focus? And I think our guys have always had it, but I think maturity shows, okay, go on the road and handle our business. And we're certainly, if we want to have any chance of winning the conference, we're going to have to be great on the road again this year.
Absolutely.
But, we talk about it all the time. We're very transparent with our guys. Hey, here's this atmosphere. Here's what it's going to look like. I don't care if there's 3,000 fans in the stands or, 70,000. We got to go handle our business.
Yeah, do you guys do anything at practice leading up to some of those games? I guess I came out here before Mississippi State game, and you guys were playing cowbells over. So let's say the Florida State game. Are you going to have war chant blasting at 150 decibels?
I'm sure I will.
Going on the
right,
practice
you just got to practice it, because if you don't, right, when you step on the field, it's got to be different, right? And we've played on the road in some environments that haven't been as packed, and so we've also gone out there, and they're so used to having music play at practice and dancing around, and sometimes we go out there,
you got to turn it off.
No music. It's just us.
Sometimes that can be just as.
We're gonna go play in the parking lot and bring your own damn juice. So we gotta find it both ways. But again, I think that speaks to maturity and where we're at as a football team.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about the Florida State game, the word chant. I know that you guys take it 1 week at a time. You don't necessarily have a game circled on the calendar, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say TJ and I, and probably a lot of the other Memphis fans, have that game circled. Obviously, it's a big time program, getting to go down to Tallahassee national stage, an opportunity to do something really special. But also with Norvell, right? Our former coach, you guys have a relationship. Do you guys still have a relationship? You keep in contact? You have some kind of side bet going on with that game?
Or? So, you're right, one game at a time. Excited for it, because I do think, right, it's the opportunity for us to go down there and face a top 10 team in the country. Mike and I still have a great relationship. We talked the other day. I still think it's important, even though we're playing each other, we still bounce ideas off each other. In fact, I was down there at the Florida State camp this summer. A lot of weird-looking heads, but when Mike had his arm around me, they're like, "Oh, okay, I got it." Wonder why the Memphis coach is walking through, going through the playbook.
Look, what's he got under his shirt?
Yeah, exactly right. But I think that relationship is always going to be strong. I give Mike a lot of credit. I certainly wouldn't be sitting here if it weren't for him. And I think he'd be the first one to tell you, look, I hope I had some part of his success here as well. I always say this, I was supposed to be on that plane for his introductory press conference in Tallahassee. So, but I was glad, right? This is one of those things that when it came up, a few months after being the head coach, I kind of looked at the opening of the schedule and who else had openings. And I said, hey, let's play this game. And some pushing and prodding and all that stuff, we decided we're playing it. They're going to pay us $1.3 million. Hopefully we go down there and handle our business. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Talking about that opportunity on the road, we've talked about the AAC and the conference in general, but also the playoffs expanded to 12 teams. We talked a little bit about the offseason momentum, but there's a lot. I don't know if you can feel it in the city, nationally. There's a different feel around this season as it comes up. Do you guys feel that? Because it's not just locally. There's national pundits that are saying that you guys could be that 12th seed or get the G5 access slot. Do you think that the American champion should make the playoff?
Yeah, so go back to initially, I do believe that there's a lot more excitement in my 9 years here this offseason than ever been, right? Even before the 2019 season, I just feel like there's a sense of overall excitement. I think part of the momentum of all the things we talked about that are going on within our program. And I talked to our players about the college football playoff. I have, and we all saw in recruiting, right? You win the conference, you go. And I truly believe the winner of this conference, regardless of record, should go to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
You compare our conference versus others in the G5, G4, whatever the heck it is now. I think we have every right to be there. And if we handle our business, that should happen. But we can't control that.
Right.
And you know what? Actually, once training camp starts, you'll never hear me say the word playoffs again. We can only control our destiny, right? You talked to some of these teams last year that, thought, an SMU team that thought they deserved the shot at the playoffs, and a Liberty team that, for whatever it's worth, some people maybe said they didn't play the toughest schedule, but got in because of the record. But we'll handle, that's all we can do is take it one day at a time, one week at a time.
Sure.
But I do think there's that excitement, and I appreciate it, because what it allows is so many more teams the ability to get into this thing.
Yeah. Do you think 12 is a good number, or would you expand it further?
Well, let's see how.
I kind of like the FCS level where it's every conference champion gets a shot. I've always been a proponent of that. Let everybody have a shot, and that kind of really puts more emphasis on winning your conference. But yeah, I don't know if you think 12's good or they'll stay there. It seems like they're expanding.
Let's see how 12 is.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's like everything, right? They're allowing sideline tablets now. I mean, they're allowing player-to-coach communication. There's now talks of the roster limitations. I mean, there's just so many changes. Let's stick with this for a year or two and see what it's like. What I don't want it to do is go to like a field of 64 and like, oh yeah, still playing football in March, and like, aren't these kids supposed to be having some type of academics obligations?
Although I don't know, playing football till March sounds good to me. As more footballs, I would sign up for that. Well, one last question before we wrap it up here. I asked it last year. I'm asking it again. What beer are we drinking after the conference championship?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them.
Yeah,
whatever's cold.
That's right. Whatever's
That's what
cold.
we're getting.
If not, we'll find some good bourbon and
Okay,
we'll have that.
there we go. Well, we appreciate it. Always a pleasure to have you on. Best of luck this season. We thank you for joining. Everybody, tune in. We'll be right back. We'll do our beer review after this.
What does Team USA basketball look like for you in 2028?
And guards, you loaded. You got Ja Morant gonna be on their team. You got Anthony Edwards gonna be on the team. But Jackson Tatum and Jaylen Brown revenge tour. They if they decide.
Point guard from New York is gonna be there.
It's more so who you gonna have as the. I guess that's why a different Booker would have to be there. Anthony Edwards. You need someone who's previously played on the Olympic team to provide that veteran because there's a different game. Not too different. It's still basketball at the end of the day, but it is a form of basketball that most of them players hadn't played in the actual Olympics yet. What USA needs to do, they need to get most of these players, and hopefully they can agree to it. That's probably what they're struggling now, is to play on the FIBA teams. Because the thing the other countries had the advantage on, the continuity, they all had the chemistry once you get to the Olympics, and USA always, it's a whole different team outside Anthony Edwards and
they do need to get them to say, look, y'all, let's run this twice.
Yeah.
Like that,
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I'm looking for the whole O-line first. Xavier Hill will start along the O-line somewhere. He's played some left tackle, some right guard, some left guard. He is going to get a bunch of playing time.
I think you have to be, if you're a Memphis fan, you have to be very pleased with what's left on the offensive line, meaning the guys that are coming back, and then also what they brought in. Like, that's one of that and the secondary are the positions they hit the hardest, and you can throw line.
I mean, the truth of it is you lost in an offseason. Jacob Likes, 4-year starter. McKylan Pounders, 2-year starter and a left tackle. You lost Davion Carter, starting right guard, starter for 2 years. A lot of teams, especially in the group of 5, would flail around the next year trying to replace those guys. But it feels like they have just so many able bodies that you almost feel better potentially about what this O-line could be compared to even a year ago.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What up? We're back, and I got to tell you what.
Hey, man,
that was a damn good time.
It's a damn good time.
TJ, we missed you. Unfortunately, there are posters like you heard Ryan. There are posters of your face up around campus. You are not allowed on campus. But it was a good time. I'm looking forward to having a fine whiskey with Coach after we bring home the American Conference Championship this year. So, Coach, if you're listening, we know that you are. You tell me the whiskey. I got it. I'll buy it. I will buy it now, and it'll remain unopened.
Yes.
Until the evening of December 2nd or whatever it is.
Hey, damn good job, Trey. That was a fun interview, man.
Dude, it was great.
Thanks. For those of you that
a fun one though,
are listening, I'm not an interviewer. That's only the second time I've done it. The first time TJ was there, when he got boo-boo bottom and wasn't able to join, I was like, Kenny, I'm not doing this by myself.
And I said, the hell you ain't doing it by yourself.
And he was the hype man. So we pulled it off, and it was a good time. Enjoyed it.
By the way, one of the more stunning parts of that entire interview was Ryan Silverfield is a music head. Did anybody know that about him?
Never.
I had not a clue. That it caught me off guard.
If you told me to listen to freaking
Red Hot
Kenny
Chili
G,
Peppers.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't know.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, and who was with them?
Ice Cube
in one concert. The next weekend,
AC/DC, Rage Against the Machine, Garth Brooks. I mean, my man was all over the place.
I'm like, the hell is going on around here? That was wild. It was wild to me. Congrats to Coach. It's fun.
Heck
man.
of a summer he's had.
Yeah. He said, I don't go on beach
Concert-wise.
trips. I go to concerts.
There you go. Hey, nothing's better than live music.
No, man.
Not many things.
If you could choose one if you could choose one concert to go to during the summertime, what would it be?
Gosh.
Who would you go see? Only one.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to think of the last concert I went to.
What's the best concert you've been to?
Best.
It's tough.
I
will say Garth Brooks did put on a damn good show when I went.
100%, dude. That's exactly my answer. That sounds ridiculous, and it sounds exactly. It makes sense now while we comment. But it's the best concert.
Helping our country stereotype that Kenny has said that we've put on, but Zach Brown Band had a damn good concert as well.
I'll tell you, so there's been my most, when I was in my early like 20s, 19, 20, 21, my favorite band of all time came to Memphis, and I saw them play, and that was legendary to me. It probably wasn't the best concert I've ever been to. Band called POD.
Yeah, dude, Payable on Death. I know that one.
Yeah, man. They were my favorite, and they so seeing them live was like incredible. But in terms of talent, the best show I've ever been to was Chris Stapleton in the FedEx Forum.
In the Pyramid.
In the Pyramid. That is
right.
In the Bass Pro, dude.
Chris Stapleton is one of the greatest voices I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's his voice sounds exactly like his albums.
I'm not shocked by that.
It is unreal how good he is.
Never seen Chris. I'll tell you who I want to see in concert, Dua Lipa. I'm a big Dua fan.
I will say, if I could, like I had made plans.
Is all it takes.
I had made plans to try to get to go see. I want to try to go see Rage Against the Machine. Like I want to. I've never seen Rage live. I would.
You and Coach. That's his game day playlist, baby.
I've seen. Okay, so and it'll be interesting to see like where he goes now because they're tearing all that down. But there's on the field on game days. There's a spot that about 30 minutes before the game starts, about 45 minutes before the game starts, you can always look over and Coach.
Don't be revealing his superstitions.
I'm not saying what or where. I'm just saying there's a spot where you can see Coach come out and he just stands there and he's watching his team warm up. And the look on his face is full. I've just got done listening to Rage Against the Machine for like 45 minutes.
He's got no headphones on.
I don't know. I don't get that close to him because
he's raw dogging warm-ups. He's not listening to anything. He's just in the moment.
But the look on his face is like, it very much made sense to me when he said he kind of shared his playlist prior to the games. Like, because there's a level of intensity on his face that I'm like, I'm just going to stay away. Like, I'm not going to get close.
Yeah. That's for the best. It's for the best. Yeah. But yeah, his I wasn't anticipating that answer.
No.
From a musical standpoint. But
anyway, it's a great interview. And it is quickly becoming one of the greatest traditions in football.
He said it himself.
When Tigers Untapped and Ryan Silverfield preseason interview.
That's what they think.
I was saying earlier, I think those interviews are so fun because it just releases like a personal side of Ryan that you normally don't get, right? In interviews and anytime he's speaking, he's very Coach Ryan. And maybe it still kind of comes through that in the interview at times, but yeah, you do get like the personal side of who Ryan Silverfield is, like the music thing. I don't think anyone would have ever known that. Just like in an interview conversation he's having at like Tigers on Tour or doing, post-practice media or anything like that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
All right, Timothy, let's get into this prickly pear sour. I've crushed mine.
A little bit left.
But I'm also more of a sour fan than
I will say,
sour.
as we're doing this beer review, we did ask Coach if we could do another review with him like we did last year, and he turned that down flat. No seltzer water. No,
he brought his own cup.
Yeah, like
of H2O. My man came in Bobby Boucher style and said, "I've got my own water." And I said, "Hey, you're fine. TJ's the drink guy, and he's not here." So I had to bring my own mug as well. I will say, I'm going to announce this publicly. I'm very upset with Kenneth because I brought him an idea of how to do the interview of Coach and I playing each other in college football on Xbox on the massive screen that's in the
that huge screen.
He said, "Hey, Coach won't do that. It's not even blah, blah, blah." What did I ask? I asked Ryan straight up. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I'd have done that 100%.
I mean, these ideas that you brought are awesome, but at like 11:45 the night before does not work for me.
All it is a text, and I just bring my Xbox. And then if they had said no, then the Xbox just stays in the car. That's it. I mean, I should have brought it anyway and just asked.
You should have brought it anyway. It's my fault. It's
okay.
I got it in the backpack just in case. You never know.
The audience doesn't need to see me throw 6 first half picks anyway to Coach Silverfield.
That's so true.
I loved it when he said, or when Trey was like, basically send your college 20 or your college football 25 resumes before you start critiquing Coach.
It is. I mean, the game is so difficult. It's unbelievable. I don't want to be a college football coach by any means. All right, TJ, we got our boy Natchez
this game
on the bike. He's dressed up as a medicine man. The prickly pear. So we got what?
I just didn't know that's what that was.
We used to have a hype guy in the crowd, medicine man at Tiger games. Miss him. Need him to come back. This game's pretty decent. I mean, it's got the same vibe going on.
Pretty standard.
I'll give him bonus points for the medicine man Natchez. I'll give him bonus points for the cactus that's on there, but it's still like it's like a 6-1 can. I mean, it's just
okay.
It's a little up there, but it's more middle of the road, you know.
I like the little pattern in the background. I don't even know if you guys can see this pattern. I think it's too faint. Well, maybe you can kind of see it there. There's like a little Aztecian pattern there. You see that? I like the pattern. I didn't realize the medicine man. I guess I do now. I'll get bonus points there. Prickly pear. You got a cactus. I don't know where the pear comes in. I guess it's supposed to taste like pear. I just got sour. This is like sour beer to me.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't get any pear in this. It tasted the one that I think it reminded me of that raspberry one that we had a raspberry sour.
I can't remember, man.
It's like,
hey, hold up the can one more time. That can is nice. I like the colors.
I didn't get there on my score. I don't mind the can. I kind of like the can. It's probably one of the better cans for me. I'd say it's probably, I'll put it as 7.
Like that forward facing the medicine man font with the colors is really nice to me. I like that.
Yeah, it's
I just like the that pattern, and then the color scheme is decent. Very similar to the color scheme we had for something wit, whatever, October's wit, I think is what it was. It's what it kind of reminds me of. So I was 7 flat on the can.
It's a good can score.
Yeah, that is a good can score. I don't know that we've had any up towards that way. Here's the description on the can. As the saying goes, beer heals all wounds. Don't look that up. We're certain this tangy and slightly sweet sour derived from the tastiest cactus flower will cure what ails ya. Bonus, this medicine goes down easy with hints of floral, star fruit, and strawberry. So it's saying, is prickly pear a type of cactus? Is that what? Are we stupid?
We may be stupid. Yeah, we could be. I can Google that for you.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Trey and I were expecting the flavor of pear. I think.
And it makes sense because it was much more strawberry-esque. It had
Yeah,
much
it's
more
probably why my cheeks are so red.
berry in
I
there.
don't know if you see that.
Oh, Timothy. Ladies and gentlemen, Timothy is allergic to strawberries, and we just drink beer that's got hints of strawberry in it. So, Jay, why don't you go ahead and give your rating, and then hit up a Benadryl. We'll get out of here.
My
So
cheeks were getting really red. I didn't
so
know
we're
if that
not-
was just for
not
shits and giggles
EpiPenning
or
on
not,
the show live. Timothy, score me. Are you taking points off because of the strawberry?
I shouldn't. I don't think I should.
To be fair, ladies and gentlemen, TJ picked this beer.
Look, dude, I just find beers that we haven't done yet where there are 2 cans of it. And that's how I make these decisions. It gets to a point where we have done so many damn beers. We're at episode, 86 here.
Which is really like 115.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it's that many, but if you include all the times we filmed and Kenny didn't do anything with it, yeah, probably. But it gets to a point where you just don't have any beer. You have to find a brewery that just is slinging canned beers left and right, and you have to have those beers also readily available.
Dude, your cheeks are getting so red right now.
I know. My face is so damn hot.
Is anything itching? Are you itchy?
Are you okay?
Is your throat closing up?
It is over here. It is pretty itchy, kind of. I'm not gonna lie.
Your right cheek is very like down here.
Is this my right for you or my left?
Yeah,
that's
your right.
Your right.
Yeah. It feels it.
Right,
it feels
right
it. It's very
there.
swollen feeling.
Oh no. Okay. What'd you score it? What'd you do it as?
I mean, strawberry stuff aside, I mean, it's a sour. I don't love sours. I think I've made that pretty well known. I would not drink 2 of these. But I'm trying not to hold that against the beer. And to Hampline, it's not their fault I'm broken, right? 6.3. I mean, it was fine. I'm not having 2. Just you guys are laughing, but I want you to know I feel this. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, we can feel it. You need to get out of here,
dude. Hey,
there's heat coming off my face. Trey,
I like this a lot. I'm not allergic to strawberry, so I'm fine. This is good. I like a sour in the summer. It was ice cold when we started. I mean, I'm going like 7.7 on this thing. I would definitely drink.
I'm getting
2.
red, brother.
I will drink 2. I will drink TJ's for next time. And with that, we're out of here. Come back next week. Come with a cold beer and some Benadryl for TJ and stay for the hot take. We'll be back.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.